What's up everyone, my name is Alpha and today we're back with another Pokemon challenge video. Today we're on Pokemon X and today's challenge will be can I beat Pokemon X Hardcore Nuzlocke using only shiny Ash's Pokemon but also Ash's moves. So we're going to make this as difficult as possible because we do know X and Y are one of the easiest games in the entire franchise. So we decided to make it even difficult. From the anime, have some really cool Pokemon on his team, the worst movesets possible. They overlap, they're clunky, and it's terrible. So we're gonna try to go through the entire game of Pokemon X, shiny hunting for Ash's Pokemon. But even then, I'm stuck using their garbage anime moves. A lot of them gonna have a move pool where they actually use more than 4 moves. So I'm gonna be allowed to pick my 4 moves out of there. But most of the time, they're not even that great to even pick out of it. So it could have been random anyways. It would have been fine. But continuing with the rules, I can only catch 1 Pokemon per route. I have to find the first shiny Pokemon that's an Ash Pokemon, so one of Ash's Pokemon in the wild. And as well, if they ever died, they are gone forever. It's the death counter. They must have Ash's move, so I'm just gonna give it to them as soon as I catch them. There's also no over leveling. The level cap is going to be the highest level in each gym leader's team, which is kind of annoying. Can't even over level past all the challenges. Also, there are no items inside of battle, and you have to play on set mode, so it's a very difficult challenge. But besides that, a fun role for everyone. Each of my Pokemon will be nicknamed after you guys in the comments. So thank you so much for leaving me a nickname in my previous challenge video. If you guys want to be nicknamed after a future Pokemon, just drop in the comments and hopefully I'll pick yours. And while you're down there, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me. Anyways, let's get into the challenge video itself. So to begin off, we have to shiny hunt for a starter Pokemon because Ash does have a Greninja. Luckily, he has the best starter. Unfortunately, if you look at the move pool, Greninja has Water Pulse as his best move, Cut as his following move, Double Team, which we're not going to use. He also has Water Shuriken. It's a physical move in this generation, so that's not great. And also have Aerial Ace, and that's my coverage. So, I mean, do I even want the Greninja at this point? So, we're going to shiny hunt. We're going to restart for a shiny Pokemon, just so it could be terrible. We're going to find ourselves a shiny Froakie, and unfortunately, the happiness is very limiting, because instantly, we're going to have to use this terrible move set. And as well, we're going to go into Route 1, and then shiny hunt for another terrible Pokemon. It could be multiple Pokemon. It could be Caterpie, it could be Pidgey, or what we got, it's a Fletchling. We're going to find ourselves a shiny Fletchling. Unfortunately, its moveset is going to be very terrible. We decided to pick Brave Bird, Flame Charge, Peck, and Steel Wing as his moves, which is some of the worst moves possible. It's so bad that I picked Peck because it was the only other flying move that was not going to damage myself. And continuing with this, Chanteloon Forest, we're going to find ourselves a Caterpie. I really wanted to find a Pikachu, did not find one, and unfortunately, Caterpie has Tackle as his only move. And I'm like, why did I wished I found a Pikachu instead. But from there, we're going to move on to Route 3. Luckily, we could shiny hill once more time for a Pikachu. And unfortunately, we don't get the Pikachu. We actually found ourselves a shiny Pidgey in the wild. That's the worst thing about this. Pidgey is not even a staple member of Ash's team. I had to actually rely on Sand Attack. I put Sand Attack on Pidgey's moveset. And I'm like, this is not going to work out. So, lucky enough, it has Wing Attack. But I'm definitely not going to use this for a long time, so I'm going to replace it later on. Looking up, we go into Route 22, and we're at least able to encounter a shiny Riolu. And Riolu is actually going to be a rare Pokemon on Ash's team that's actually viable. He also Mega Evolves it in the anime, so we're able to actually get a pretty decent Pokemon. So we're going to catch that, add it to our team. We're going to make sure we train this thing very heavily to get this evolved, because its moveset is pretty decent. Force Palm, Aura Sphere, Bullet Punch, and Double Team, which Double Team could be better, but it is what it is. It's a decent Pokemon. And from there, we can finally head into the first gym after all this terribleness. We're going to start the battle off against Viola using my Fletchling. Now, I did say I don't want to use Brave Bird because it does have a lot of Rico damage, but Flame Charge doesn't do the damage. I got to go with Brave Bird. I have enough HP. I can survive some recoil. And then from there, I knock out the Surge Kit, and then her next Pokemon will be a Vivillon. I go for a Flame Charge to gauge the damage and also limit the recoil. And then from there, I just pull the trigger, just knock him out with a Brave Bird. As we're able to beat down Viola, get the first gym badge of the game pretty easily. Now the level cap jumped to 25. We're allowed to evolve a lot of Pokemon, so we're going to do that. We're going to evolve our Pidgey into a Pidgeotto, also our Froakie into a Frogadier. And from there, we're also going to go into Professor Sycamore's lab and then start shiny hunting for our next Pokemon. Now, our next Pokemon in here is going to be available to us as a Charmander. We could get any of the Kanto starter Pokemon, but we decided to get ourselves a shiny Charmander because obviously it fully evolved. And I don't think it Mega Evolved, so I can't even Mega Evolve that. But we have Mega Lucario in the back. Eventually, through a lot of trial and error, we eventually get ourselves a shiny Charmander, which not the greatest nature and not the greatest moveset. Flamethrower, Overheat, Steel Wing, and Dragon Breath. So could be better. I was thinking about putting Submission on it. I'm like, I'm not gonna use that. I'm just gonna definitely use Flamethrower and Overheat the most, just like any other Charizard. From there, we're gonna move out and face off against the Snorlax. I could have shiny hunt for the Snorlax. Actually, would have been one of Ash's strongest Pokemon. Honestly, I just didn't want it. I don't know why. I don't even know if this is possible to get shiny. But we killed the Snorlax. We're gonna move on. We're gonna actually accidentally go into the coastal route of Route 7 and face off against the Axew Trainer, which is super. You don't want to do this. Lucky enough, it doesn't knock me out with Dragon Rage. It didn't even use Dragon Rage, so we're lucky with that. And from there, we can move out into Route 9, where we're able to start shiny hunting in the little sandy place, rocky sandy place. In this rocky area, we're able to shiny hunt for our next Pokemon, which is going to be a shiny Standout, which we're going to replace Pidgeotto with, which is really nice. So we're going to add that to our team. Didn't realize it at the time, but it does have Moxie, so that's going to be very cool to have. And you can see that I'm training up Riolu, and eventually, from all that training, we're able to evolve the Riolu into a Lucario right before the second gym, so that's a little broken. But we're going to have a Lucario as we move out and face off against Grant next. Grant is going to be the second gym leader in the game. We're going to start the battle off against him using my Lucario, and yeah, that's the end of the battle. So we're going to use Lucario and just Force Palm, knock out the Omora, and knock out the Tyrants. That's it. That's the end of the battle. So from there, we're gonna move out and actually start using Honey to use Horde encounters. Eventually, we want to find ourselves a shiny Starly to replace our Butterfree, because it's a Butterfree with Stun Spore, Sleep Powder, and Tackle. And String Shot, like, I had to choose String Shot because I ran out of options, because the other moves are actually worse somehow. So I'm going to replace Butterfree and Pidgeotto. If we lose Pokemon, we might have to add them to it. Actually, we're definitely not going to add them to the team. We're going to actually just replace them with some other Pokemon, because there's a lot on the list of Ash's Pokemon available to us in X and Y. We just got the worst one. Like, Pikachu would have been fun to use at least. Eventually, I actually gave up on the hunt to find ourselves a shiny Horde Starly, and just started running around. Eventually, we found ourselves a shiny Staravia faster than a shiny Starly. I don't know how, but we're gonna add the Staravia on our team, and then, you know, just keep our team. As we move out, we almost lose some Pokemon against Serena, which is very bad. So that could have been very bad. I don't want to lose a Pokemon to Serena, of all people. From there, we're gonna move out and face off against Karina, the third gym leader in the game. We're starting the battle off against Karina using my Staravia. Staravia has some pretty nice moves: Aerial Ace, Close Combat, Brave Bird, and Quick Attack. Quick Attack for stab, Brave for power, but I'm mainly going to use Aerial Ace as we one-shot the Mienfoo. Her next Pokemon will be a Machoke, which I go for an Aerial Ace. It goes for a Rock Tomb, and I'm like, okay, that hits a little hard. I'm able to go for another Aerial Ace as he heals up, and I go for a Quick Attack. I don't know why. I knew he was going to heal up, but yeah, overthought that. But I still outspeed a Machoke as I knock him out. Her next Pokemon will be a Hawlucha, which I'm like, this thing could hurt, so I switch out into my Fletchinder, which actually tanked the Flying Press because it's partly fighting move, and I'm able to go for a Flame Charge into a Brave Bird, just minimal recoil damage, and we're able to knock out the Hawlucha. We're able to clear through Karina pretty easily, and from there, I forgot to Mega Evolve the Lucario that you just got given. He's gonna punch me down, so we have to restart the battle. But we get the Lucario Mega Stone, and with the level cap, we're actually evolving our Staravia into a Staraptor, which is, I mean, pretty cool. The rest, we're going to face off against Ramos next. Ramos can be the fourth gym leader in the game. We're going to start the battle off against him using my Charmander, or Charmeleon. I haven't used this thing in a minute. It gets crit first time I sent them out, and it gets knocked down pretty low because of the Jump Fluff. From there, we're able to Flamethrower and knock out the Jump Fluff, and I'm like, you know what? Send it. We're going to overheat into the Go-Go, just make sure it dies, and it does. We're able to knock out the Go-Go pretty easily, and there's a Weeping Bell in the back, and just can go for overheat. We're able to knock him out pretty easily as we're able to beat down Ramos, and from there, level cap jumps once more to 37, evolve our Frogadier and Charmeleon into Charizard and Greninja, and then we're going to move out, face off against Clement. Clement is going to be pretty easy since we have a ground type in the back. We're going to start the battle off against Clement using such ground type. So we're going to use Krokorok against the Amoga, and we're going to go for Stone Edge immediately, knock out the Amoga, and also get the Moxie boost. I'm like, oh, it has Moxie? Just completely forgot about it. Clement then is going to send out his Heliolisk, which should have Surf or Grass Knot. Would have been a way better Pokemon, but I go for a Dig as he has Quick Attack, so that's not going to do anything. We're going to knock out his Heliolisk and then face off against his Magneton. We're going to two-shot him with Crunch. Too lazy to use Dig, I'm not gonna lie. We're gonna knock out Clement pretty easily as we get ourselves the 5th gym badge in the game. From there, we're able to move out, face off against Serena again, beat her, super simple. Evolve a Krokorok into a Crocodile, and then from there face off against Valerie. Valerie is going to be the 6th gym leader in the game. We're going to start the battle off against her using my Charizard. Charizard immediately goes for a flamethrower to knock out the Mawile, which is, pretty free. From there, she's going to switch out into her Mr. Mime, which go for a flamethrower, and then she light screens, and I'm like, oh, well, this is kind of annoying, so I go for overheat just to make sure I knock him out, but I miss. It's going to lower my special defense. I got kind of scared, so I switched out into my Dark type. Avoid that, go for dig, knock out the Mr. Mime. But now I have a problem because she's going to switch out into her Sylveon, and my Krookodile might go down. Actually, it won't. It's pretty tanky. So I'm going to switch out my Krookodile into my Lucario. Lucario does tank the Dazzling Gleam, and we're going to Mega Evolve and go for Bullet Punch. This thing has adaptability, and Bullet Punch is super effective. It's going to do a lot of damage. Eventually, we're able to knock out the Sylveon, even at full HP, which is nice. So from there, we're able to move out into the Pokeball Factory, which served barely any purpose, I'm not going to lie. From there, we're going to move out as a transition into Olivia. We're going to start the battle off against Olivia, the 7th gym leader in the game, with my Krookodile. My Krookodile is able to just knock out the Sigilyph in one shot, get a Moxie boost, and yeah, that's going to speed up the match for sure. We're able to crunch into the Slowking as well to one-shot it, and her final Pokemon will be a Meowstic. You know what? This game is very easy. We're using a bunch of terrible movesets, and we're able to still one-shot everything. We're able to clear through Olympia pretty easily, and get ourselves the 7th gym badge in the game. Now from there, we're going to move out one weakness of my team. I'm not able to deal with water types, specifically Gyarados. As you can see, we almost lose to it, so that could have been really bad, but keep in mind for later, we don't have a really good check to water types. So yeah, so from there, we're going to move out after beating Lysander for the first time. We're going to catch ourselves with Xerneas and rematch against Lysander. This is actually the 3rd fight we're going to face off against him. So we're going to start the battle off against Lysander with my Talonflame against his Mienshao. We go for a Brave Bird because make sure we knock him out for sure. His next Pokemon is going to be his Pyro always. So I'm going to switch out into my Greninja. I take a Hyper Voice and a Water Pulse. Well, just barely one-shot it. We have the Sea Incense just in case for him. From there, he's going to switch out to his Honchkrow, which... pretty sure this thing can't really do too much. I'm going for a Water Pulse as he goes for an Air Lace, and I was thinking about using Water Shuriken, but that could have been a big throw, so just to make sure I knock him out with a Water Pulse. And then from there, he's going to switch out to his Gyarados, and I'm like, okay, he's definitely going for an Earthquake, because obviously I'm on the ground. He has no moves to really hit on my Staraptor, so I switch out to my Staraptor with Intimidate. He Mega Evolves, he goes for Outrage immediately, and I just tank it. So from there, I go for close combat. 2 close combats will knock out his Gyarados as I dodge an Outrage because of a Lax Incense, which is kind of funny. And from there, we're able to beat down Lysander super easily. Now from there, we were able to face off against Professor Sycamore, and this fight took forever because I don't have a check for water types, so we have to use my Greninja against the Blastoise, and yeah, that's a really bad check. From there, we can face off against the 8th gym leader in the game. We're gonna start the battle off against him using my obviously Charizard against his Abomasnow. You guys kind of know where this can go. So Flamethrower to knock out the Abomasnow, Flamethrower to knock out the Cragno in 2 shots. He actually Ice Beams me, but that's about all his damage. So we're getting Flamethrower twice to knock him out. Oh, it just knocks him out at full health. From there, he's going to switch out into his Avalok, which I'm go for Overheat. One-shot it. Doesn't have Sturdy. And we're able to beat down. Oh, frick. What a waste of time. From there, we're going to face off against Victory Road, which isn't too difficult. We just got to be very careful of what Pokemon I have out and what kind of coverage. They actually have better movesets than most of the gym leaders, which is crazy. I feel like they put more effort into these random trainers in Victory Road than the actual gym leaders. But anyways, we can clear through Victory Road with some scares, as you see. And we're going to make our way into the Pokemon League and face off against the Elite Four themselves. The first Elite Four member we're going to face off against is going to be Malva. Malva is the Fire type Elite Four member, and we're going to start the battle off against her using, well, obviously Greninja. Greninja is going to be the Water type. So Greninja has the time to shine as we're ready to Water Pulse into the Pyroar, and don't kill it. That's terrible. If it had any better, it's CN's boosted too. It's going to Nova Roar me, lower my attack stats, and then I do less damage. So I'm going to switch out into my Charizard because I know it's not going to do anything against me. I double into my Greninja once again, and then it's going to go for Hyper Voice, which I tank it. Water Pulse to knock out the Pyroar, and then her next Pokemon will be a Talonflame. I outspeed luckily and knock out the Talonflame in one shot. And then her next Pokemon after that will be a Torkoal. This thing has like no special defense, so we should be alright as we one-shot it. And her final Pokemon will be a Chandelure, which I go for a Water Pulse and don't kill it. But she crits me in return with a Flamethrower. I survive it, you know, knock him out in turret range, and we're able to beat down a Chandelure. This thing is not that great, so yeah, we can't even knock out a Pyroar in one shot. But it's fine, we beat Malva. We're gonna move on and face off against Wingstrom. Wingstrom's gonna be the steel type elite form member in the game. We're gonna start the battle off against him using Charizard, my favorite starter Pokemon. Flamethrower into the Klefki to one-shot it, and then his next Pokemon was gonna be a Probopass. I'm like, well, I do have something in the back for it. I do have my Lucario. I'm gonna switch out into my Lucario. I don't switch out. I switch out into Crocodile because you know what? I get greedy with the Moxie boost. I go for Crunch and then into a Dig, my special defense drop. But you know what? I'm still getting greedy. So Dig into the Probopass to one-shot it. His next opponent was gonna be an Aegislash. This thing has Sacred Sword. Could have been preventable. So I don't want to die, obviously. So I'm gonna switch out into my Charizard, and then I'm just gonna go for a Flamethrower. Flamethrower is gonna two-shot it as I take a Shadow Claw pretty easily. And yeah, I'm pretty tanky. Just gonna use King Shield. What a waste of time. Knock out the Aegislash, and then his last Pokemon was gonna be a Scizor, which honestly I could have just used Ember and would have knocked out the Scizor as we're ready to beat down Wingstrom. And from there we're gonna move on and face off against Drasna. Drasna's gonna be the Dragon type elite form member of the game, and we're gonna start the battle off against her using my Staraptor, which is a weird play, but let me cook. I'm gonna chip it down using Air Release. I could have different Pokemon that could have been like way better. It's gonna use Sludge Bomb. It's gonna use Sludge Bomb against me. I do think it has Thunderbolt. It went for Thunderbolt, so I assume it's gonna go for Thunderbolt again since I'm a flying type. So I'm gonna switch out into my Crocodile, trying to get the Moxie boost, knock him out. It goes for Sludge Bomb, which if it poisoned me, I could have been really upset. But I'm gonna go for a Dig against him and knock out the Draglich. One shot, which is nice, and get the Moxie boost. Her next Pokemon after that will be Altaria, which I'm pretty sure outspeed. So Dragon Claw, super effective, +1 as well, knock out Altaria. Her next Pokemon will be a Druddigon, and I'm like, hope this kills. And actually, this tanky Druddigon goes down in one shot, and we'll absolutely take that. As we're ready to beat down the Druddigon, and her final Pokemon will be a Noivern, which can't knock me out. So Dragon Pulse, tank it, Dragon Claw to knock him out, and super easy. As we're ready to beat down Drasna, and now complete the third Elite Four member. From there, this is the big time. We're going to face off against Sealberg. Sealberg's going to be the water type Elite Four member in the game. We're going to start the battle off against him using my Lucario. The Lucario is here is to chip down and hopefully knock out the Clawitzer. The best case scenario, I paralyze it and it stays paralyzed. Unfortunately, I go for a Mega Evolution. I Force Palm, paralyze it, but it's going to hit me with an Aura Sphere. I tank it at least, and then Force Palm will knock out the Clawitzer, which is fine. His next Pokemon was going to be a Gyarados, which I switched out immediately, go into my Staraptor, and then from there I can Air Lace into him. It's going to use 2 Dragon Dances, which is fine. It's actually in reality only +1, so I could tank one hit for sure. As it goes for an Ice Fang, as I go for a Brave Bird, and Brave Bird at this health is kind of risky, but I knew I should live it, so roughly. I'm able to knock out the Gyarados. From there, he's going to switch out into his Barbarical. I switch it to my Greninja, oblivious to the fact that it's actually going to use a fighting move against me. So Cross Chop to knock me out. I'm like, oh, that's just unlucky. But I didn't really have a play here because Lucario is already low. My Crocodile is weak to Cross Chop. So I go out to my Crocodile after this and go for a Dig, which would knock him out, which is nice. Then from there, I'm getting a Moxie boost, and I'm pretty sure I could live a hit from the Starmie. As I do, as I'm ready to survive a Surf, Crunch to knock him out, as we're ready to beat down Sealberg, but we lose a Pokemon in the process. My game actually froze, and I had to redo the battle, so I kind of just got the same result. But yeah, my Greninja's gone, which is unfortunate. From there, we're going to enter the Champion's Chamber with 1 Pokemon down, but that's fine. We're going to face off against Diantha, the champion of Kalos, and start the battle off against her using my Talonflame. Talonflame actually does pretty well, as I'm able to Brave Bird and knock out the Hawlucha, which is nice. From there, she can switch out into her Tyrantrum, and I'm like, I got this thing. I switch out into my Lucario, thinking it's going to go for a Head Smash, so I tank it. And I do. I tank it pretty well, as I go for a Mega Evolution. And adaptability, I'm a physical attacker. Force Palm should kill, right, in my head, but I didn't calculate. I was going off wits, and unfortunately it does not kill, and I almost lost my Lucario in the process. Then it's gonna full restore. I'm like, you know, let me just try out Aura Sphere, and it one-shots it. I'm like, I could have done this the whole time. That's so annoying. From there, she can switch out into her Goodra, and I'm like, this is the ticket in. I need to knock this thing out with my Crocodile. So how do I plan this out? I decided to go out into my Staraptor. Pretty good play. And then from there, I hit him with a hefty Brave Bird, which actually was not the play, because I knock out my Staraptor. I'm like, okay, well, that's not the best. It's gonna heal up as well. I go for a Crunch with my Crocodile. It 2-shots it anyway, so I could have done this the whole time. I go for a Crunch, knock out the Goodra, get the Moxie boost. From there, she can switch out into Auroras, which I'm like, you know what? Go for a Dig. Unfortunately, she has a Reflect. I'm gonna hit the Auroras with a Dig. Almost knocks him up because of the Reflect, so that's terrible. She She then sets up light screen. At least it didn't go for a blizzard, so I could go for another dig, avoid a blizzard, and knock out the Auroras, which I wasted like 3 turns at this point. So from against the Gorgeist, I'm gonna go for a crunch. Through reflect, I actually don't kill the Gorgeist, and that's actually worth it because it's gonna wear off the reflect, knock him out in the following turn. And then from there, her last Pokemon will be a Mega Gardevoir, which, you know, I have +3 attack. I also outspeed the Mega Gardevoir, which works for us, even though it's actually a few levels higher than us. So we're able to dig and then knock him out with a dig, as we're able to beat down Diantha pretty easily. We did lose Staraptor, which is kind of unfortunate. 2 deaths at the end. Went through the entire game pretty easily, and I'm trying to make Pokemon X and Y harder and harder. It's still not working out. Let me know what you guys think in the comments of this hardcore Nuzlocke, but that'll be the end for me. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I hope you guys all enjoyed this hardcore Nuzlocke. If you guys can, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me. Anyways, my name is Alpha, and I hope you guys all have a great day. I'm out. Peace.